Let's have a look at one example. These are my personal planner journals for 2021 and 2022. If you look through the weeks of 2021, in contrast to those of 2022, you'll see how much I change my system on a weekly basis or a monthly basis. Okay, so this is an example for February 2022. And we have this one for January 2022. It's not uncommon to have different styles and layouts in one planner. The idea is to find what suits you through trial and error and understand that there is no harm in always trying to innovate and come up with a new system that might be better than the last. But for discussion's sake, let's focus on the most recent format I prepared. This one is the system I plan to use for March based on adjustments I needed to make coming from January and February. Okay. So zooming in on the top portion of this spread, you'll see that I've broken down the left page in 4 columns, each with its own header to explain its role or purpose. The entire left page is actually designed to serve planner purposes with the elements I've included. I'll go through them one by one. So number 1, we have the icon column. I have icon stickers, which I use to indicate what main activity should consume my entire day. I also have other icon stickers that serve as indicators of important health matters that I need to monitor. This serves as a visual aid. One look at this column and I understand what my priorities are for the week without looking at specifics on the rest of the page. Next, I will lump together columns 2 and 3, which involve the time column and the event column. Under events, any meetings, appointments, or important events that I need to keep track of will be listed. And across the same line, I will place the time on the second column if there is a specific time frame for the indicated event. And lastly, this column serves as the outputs portion, and it's a place which will allow me to list specific outputs expected of me in a particular day. You can also list tasks here, but the targets should be more emphasized to keep track of commitments. Okay. So now that you've seen the left side, let's move on to the right and start with one part that also has a design that is very specific to planner purposes. Okay. On the upper right-hand corner, you'll see an empty list labeled 8 critical tasks. The idea here is to list the top 8 tasks for the week that need your immediate attention. If you don't reach 8 tasks for work, you can include important house errands or personal tasks such as bills to pay or even veterinary appointments for your pets. Personally, this is a necessity, so I have a list that I can keep going back to in case my activities are starting to confuse and derail me from what I need to focus on. The other 2 parts on this right pane mainly apply the journal purposes. So you'll see here a column labeled meals, with a box allotted per day and the box broken down in 3 parts indicated by the letters B, L, and D. This allows me to track every meal I consume in a day. When you keep a tracker such as this, you can look back and see all the meals you've eaten and actually find a trend in your eating habits. You could also use these as a checkpoint in your memory to help you remember the events of a certain day. So this very simple tracker fulfills the journal purpose without needing to write long paragraphs as in a diary, correct? It's a good application of memory keeping with added functionality. But it can also be as simple as you wanting to make sure you're eating healthily and consuming a variety of food that offer lots of nutrients. Okay, now we move downwards. But still focused on the right side of the spread, you'll notice this area is what I call the time spent tracker, and it's something that I started using in February this year. A closer look would show you the complete 24 hours of a day listed in the center of the tracker. Each line the hour indicated rests on represents that particular time of the day. So starting with 1, this is actually 1 a.m. and you'll see it is in a 24-hour clock style. On the right side, there are keys to guide the user to what is being tracked on the table. I listed 4 main things I want to track: sleep, drive, work, and me time. But this is highly flexible based on the user's needs and what activities they want to monitor or track in a week. I personally chose these 4 because my day largely consists of these activities. So now we can see how all of these elements come together to allow us to practice the 3 main goals of planning and journaling: productivity, mindfulness, and reflection. If you've noticed, I specifically left the bottom right portion of this spread empty. Let me just zoom in on that. This portion. And it's devoid of any labels because as a personal touch, I like putting in a short reflection of how my entire week went. It's the space to allow myself a brief moment to absorb everything on this spread once it's used and filled up, and then process that information for reflection. So I hope you guys appreciated this very brief look at my personal journal and how I use it.